Cyrus Fees with Abu Dhabi Warriors as we prepare for Abu Dhabi Warriors 3. The huge main event is a heavyweight clash between Sokoudjou and Paul Buentela. While I'm live on location at the Dan Henderson Athletic Training Center here in beautiful Temecula, California. And let's take a look at the training camp and how Sokoudjou is getting ready for this huge matchup on October 3rd.
I mean, when I got the call to fight Paul, I was excited because I've seen him fight, and I believe the first time I ever met him was at King of the Cage when he had a belt. I was looking at him like, man, I hope one day I can also get a belt like him. So, I've, followed him for a minute, I've watched his fights in the UFC and everywhere, and, I've always been a fan of his. I mean, to prepare for a guy like Buentela, all I have to do is train with a guy like Dan, because Dan Henderson will punch you once and you won't remember the past 6 years of your life. So, I just got to get some guys who hit hard, and I got to make sure, I don't get hit too many times in practice, and make sure in the fight, I get away from those punches.
Yeah, sparring with Sokoudjou isn't fun. When he's here on sparring days, I need to make sure that I'm keeping everything tight and not getting out of position and making sure that I move my head. So he really keeps me honest and makes sure that my defense is there, and he's hard to hit as well.
I mean, what I think I need to do, I should have done, is study me more than study other people, because going in the fight, I know more about the guy in front of me than myself. So that's why now when I'm training, I got to make sure I record my training, go home and see why and how I get hit and why I do certain things and try to work on them. So. I mean, like I said earlier, at this point in my career, I never fought for Abu Dhabi Warrior before. Hopefully this will be a good experience, and I will not mind fighting for them in the future. And so far, I've liked what they've done and what they've said, and hopefully we can continue in a long-term relationship, and I can get more fights with them. I mean, training with Dan is it's interesting because, believe it or not, he's 45 years old, but he beats everybody's butt in practice. So that kind of frustrates me, because I'm supposed to be the younger and the stronger, but training with them, I never want to go home and feeling the way I feel all the time. So until I can beat his ass every day, I'll be like, okay, I'm done. But because usually the student wants to surpass the master, but it's always been the master beating the piss out of the student. So that's what's interesting with Dan. He's a smaller guy, but he can throw a punch, and it's interesting because when you try to look at his age and what he doesn't make sense. He's so strong, and it's always interesting. Hey Paul, this is Sokoudjou. I hope you're training, because October 3rd, I'm coming for you. Be ready.